Howdy-ho, Andrew aka Kelpier here. Welcome to the Onion Buns and welcome to another episode of my top 20 games of all times. Today we're coming in at number 3. And if you haven't already guessed, it's Dragon Age Origins. Hey all, just a quick mention here. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment on the videos you like. It helps with the YouTube algorithm, which helps me. Takes 2 seconds. So thanks in advance. Dragon Age Origins was an absolute masterpiece. It really was. It had everything you want out of an RPG in that era. The story was absolutely amazing. The characters were compelling. They drew you in. You cared about them. There was emotional investing. It was everything you wanted out of an RPG. The only thing I didn't like about Dragon Age Origins, really, was the fade to black screen when you romanced one of the characters. But I mean, that was the era, so you didn't really, it wasn't. Back then, everything was fade to black. So you just said, well, that sucks, but okay, move on. Nowadays, thanks to Cyberpunk and games like that, you expect more. It's like if you watched recently, I talked about Starfield. Starfield did the fade to black, and I absolutely took them over the coals for that. Because Dragon Age Origins was made in 2009. So 16 years ago now. There was a different standard, but Starfield, well, that was made just a few years ago. So again, different standard, different expectation. So you give Dragon Age Origins the pass for doing it because that's what everyone did. That was the standard of the industry at the time. You don't give Starfield a pass because, well, they're doing a 2009 standard. Or 2005 standard. It's like, no, you're a 2020 game. We want the standard of a 2020 game. So anyway, I'm not going to go into that. That was my only complaint about Dragon Age Origins, but there was a mod that came out that corrected that, so whatever. Other than that, the game was absolutely spectacular. It really was. So I'm going to show you a couple of trailers to give you an idea about the game if you've never played it, and then I'll go into some of the characters, because some of these characters are my favorite characters of all time in computer gaming, or they're in the list, I guess would be the best way to put it. And the writing was spectacular for them. The voice acting, like this is something we can't avoid here, is they hired the absolute best voice actors for these characters. So anyway, let's start with Dragon Age Origins story trailer.
The Chantry teaches us the mages had sought to usurp heaven, but instead they destroyed it. They were cast out, twisted and cursed by their own corruption. They returned as monsters, the first of the Darkspawn. They became a blight upon the lands, unstoppable and relentless. Humanity stood on the verge of annihilation until the Grey Wardens came. It has been 4 centuries since that victory. I have seen with my own eyes what lies on the horizon.
Part of being a Grey Warden is being able to hear the Darkspawn. That's why we know this is really a blight. We feel it just as they do.
This threat is greater than they realize.
The Darkspawn horde grows larger with each passing day. We are few now, and our warnings have been ignored for too long.
No Grey Warden has ever defeated a blight without the army of a half-dozen nations at his back.
You must gather allies. Unite shattered lands.
Dwarves, elves, mages. This sounds like an army to me.
And end the blight before it consumes us all.
This moment forth, you are a Grey Warden.
So unlike a lot of trailers, that actually gave you a really good insight into what the game is about. It's about you are the Grey Warden. It's your job to fight the corruption, the blight. You start in an area and the blight starts and it's corrupting and twisting things, as you saw, and it's spreading. So the game is always pushing you to move. You know, you don't get to sit there and dilly-dally. It's always pushing you to move, which creates an anticipation and an excitement. You know, it's just a mechanic, obviously. You have enough time in each area to do what you need to do. But there's always that backdrop of being pushed, rushed, you know, the adrenaline flowing. And it works fantastic for the story. The other thing is they didn't do an open world. You get a map and then you do traveling. You might have an encounter along the way. There's one encounter early on where you, probably one of the hardest encounters in the game, you fight these bloody wolves and oh my God, I died so many times to those wolves. And reading online, I wasn't the only one. These wolves, and I think they dumbed them down in future patches, but at launch, these wolves were just, oh my God, did they drive you nuts? But yeah, you would travel to each area on the map. So this is the map. Yeah, so this is the map that you don't get to see it. It's blocked out Fogs of War, and you have to explore to unlock it. But this is the whole map. And yeah, you travel around to these different areas, the dwarves, the deep well, which is such a fantastic concept. And the dwarvish society was just, it was just written so bloody well. And I guess there's no other way to do this, is this game stands alone as an absolute masterpiece. The games that came after it are absolute dog shit. And each one gets progressively worse. The latest one killed the franchise. Like, it's done. There's a very good chance if the next Mass Effect game doesn't do well, BioWare is dead. And it will be because of the last, well, not only the last Dragon Age game, but, you know, because you had Mass Effect Andromeda, failure. You had Anthem, failure. You had Dragon Age Inquisition, not a failure, but it didn't come close to what it was expected to do. And then you had Dragon Age Veilguard, which was a complete and utter disaster and failure. So BioWare's been hurting for a number of years, and Dragon Age Veilguard was the game that really put the final nail in the coffin. It's like, BioWare has one more chance. Most of the staff has been laid off now. Most of the studios have been closed down. BioWare has one more chance with the Mass Effect 4 they're coming out with. And if it's not a massive success, I don't even think a moderate success will cover it. If it's not a massive success, the studio that is named BioWare, I mean, let's be honest, BioWare has not existed for a lot of years. Soon as EA bought it, they started changing it like they always do, and the product quality got less. Every title is worse. Dragon Age Origins was the final real BioWare product. Now, it came out under EA, as you see it says EA because Dragon Age Origins was 90% finished when EA bought BioWare. So yes, it was released under the EA umbrella, but this was actually a BioWare pre-EA game for the most part. You can play parts of it, and you will notice when you play the original. I don't even know if you can get the original anymore. I think you can only get it with all the expansions. So anyway, but when it first came out, there was obvious holes in the map. And these came out as DLC because what EA had done is they had cut sections of the original game out and repackaged them as a DLC for $5 or $10 because this is what EA does. But the original game was still written. The characters were designed. The story was designed. This was all done before EA. EA had no involvement. All they did was cut it up so that they could try to increase their profit. So anyway, this game, like I said, this game is an absolute. I used to say it was tied with my number 2 game, which I guess I'll spoil right now, is The Witcher, the original Witcher. But I used to say this and The Witcher were tied 2-3 because I really couldn't decide which was better. But it slid to 3 because Dragon Age 2 is absolute crap. Dragon Age Inquisition, I've never been able to finish it. I have tried, no word of a lie, I'm going to say 10 different times now. And I absolutely detest my companions that I want to kill each and every one of them myself, which the game won't allow me to do. And I get to the point where it's like, no, I'm done. I can't finish this game. It was really the start of seeing the DEI and the woke crap being shoved down our throats into games. And yeah, I never been able to finish it. I've tried. I mean, graphically it was quite good, but it just, story wasn't there. Characters were unlikable. And so yeah, I never finished Dragon Age Inquisition. And then Dragon Age Veilguard came out. And I've never played Dragon Age Veilguard. I won't buy EA games at release. So I wait for real players to give real feedback on EA games. And the bought-off critics, they loved Veilguard. The players did not. It got raked over the coals. And then I saw the videos and everything. I went, yeah, this game's not for me. I'm not paying a cent for it. I honestly wouldn't play it. I get a lot of games from Amazon for free, from Amazon Prime. Every month they put out free games. And if they put out Dragon Age Veilguard, I wouldn't even play it for free. It's that bad of a game. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about Dragon Age Origins. And Dragon Age Origins is, if I had to say on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say it's a 9.5 game. Now, it's starting, as you can tell by the graphics in the trailer, and I'm going to show you a few more trailers, but it's starting to look a little dated. But that doesn't bother me in games. I don't play for the graphics. I love good graphics. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I wouldn't have a 3070 Ti graphics card if I didn't love the graphics. And I wouldn't have Oculus VR and then before HTC VR if I didn't love graphics. So I do love the graphics, but I love storytelling and proper characters more. And this game, it's got all of that. It's also got 2 expansions. So I'm going to show you the first expansion, and it's about Leliana. Leliana is a love interest. If you play the male, there's 3 love interests. There's Leliana, there's Morrigan, and then there's Zephyrin. It's the token gay romance for the guys. Because EA, this is what EA does. They have to have this in. Now, I actually like Zephyrin, but what I hated him in the game because, I'm not gay and I don't do gay storylines. I just don't. If that's what floats your boat, all the power to you. I have no problem with that, but I don't do them. And what drove me nuts with Zephyrin is you can't be friends with him. You either have to be romantically linked to him or you have to kill him. There's no in between. And that drove me nuts because I was never going to be romantically linked to him. And I really didn't. He was an assassin. I really like his character and I like his story. And I would love to have them in my group and a part of the group, but this is how they wrote it. I don't agree with them on that, but that was, like I said, this was the start of the DEI era, and so they put in this token gay character, and yeah, whatever. So anyway, Leliana, I dare say she may have been either her or Triss Marigold from The Witcher are my first real infatuations with a computer companion love interest. No offense to Morgan, who was so expertly written, and Claudia Black does the from Stargate and Farscape fame. She does the voice acting for Morgan, and she is absolutely fantastic in that. Leliana was the one for me in this game, and so they came out with an expansion on Leliana, and it really filled in a lot of the backstory and got you interested. So I'm going to play this, and yeah, we'll go with it from there.
Do you want to know a secret? This tale of foolish people long ago, I know what happened and what is true, but I don't know how it should end. Let me tell it one more time, and perhaps together we will see. Very nice. Months of planning, favors, everything is waiting for us. We are here to show Ferelden how Orlais commands the game. Several jobs and a personal score of my own, but the rest of the night is yours. Think you're up to it, pretty thing? You know I'm ready for anything. Of course you are. You're mine. I'll be watching. Don't let me down.
Love to watch her go. Returns me to the stone.
Focus.
So there is no trailer for Leliana's song. That's actually the start of, they just recorded the entire storyline for the DLC. Or expansion. So I'm not going to play all that. One, it's 30 minutes long, and second, I don't like doing spoilers on my channel. But it gives you an idea of the character, introduces you to the character, the companions for her standalone expansion DLC. And it talks about the area of the world that they come from that really isn't touched in Dragon Age Origins. In Inquisition, you actually do go to that area. It's one of the good parts of Inquisition. But yeah, like, I absolutely love Leliana. She's sweet, she's innocent, but she's a spy, for lack of a better word. In Origins, she's a bard. In Inquisition, they turn her into this spy master, cold, unfeeling, just completely different personality. It's, again, I don't understand why EA insists on doing this. Like, you had this masterful character, and they ruined it. So anyway, I love her. Like I said, she was her and Triss Marigold. Anna and Shani. are the 3 companion NPCs that I really felt connected to in video games early on. You know, prior to them, I can't think of anyone, you know. Well, no, that's not true. Maybe Jade Empire. Jade Empire had a couple, but even them, I liked them, but I didn't have the connection that I had to Shani, Triss Marigold, or Leliana. So anyway, that was that one. So the story is basically, like I said, the Rot is taking over and corruption, the Blight, and you have to travel around and you have to, it's a mystery. You have to figure out what's causing the Blight, and then you have to stop it. And you meet everybody. So like one of the things I love is you have 3 main companions. Morrigan, who has a fantastic storyline. Leliana, who I just introduced to you. And Alistair. Who, again, has a great storyline that I'm not going to ruin for you. Other companions are, as I said, they're minor companions. Those are your 3 main ones. Your other companions are Loghain, who's a secret companion that you have to unlock if you can. Shale, which they classify as a DLC character, but this is one of those characters who was obviously cut out of the main game and repackaged as a DLC character. He's hilarious. He's absolutely hilarious. Oghren is a Dwarven Berserker. Sten is a Quinari warrior. And Sten is masterfully written in Dragon Age Origins. Unfortunately, after Dragon Age Origins, EA completely changed how the Quinari look, act, everything. They become ridiculous characters. Wynn is a healing mage. Very interesting character. An older character, but adds a lot, almost like the conscience that you need. So the way they describe how Wikipedia describes this is Dragon Age Origins is a role-playing video game set in the fictional kingdom Ferelden during a period of civil strife. Players take on a role of a warrior, mage, or rogue from different backgrounds, elven, human, or dwarven, and the game follows the story of a recent recruit to the legendary order of warriors known as the Grey Wardens. And that's accurate. And again, I keep going to the complaining about the future games, but after Origins, the Grey Wardens become they, for lack of a better word, they become unimportant. Like, they are the focus of this franchise, yet for some reason EA after Origins puts them into the backdrop and then forgets all about them completely. I never understood that, but I don't understand EA. So anyway, I'm going to finish off this video with a couple more trailers, and yeah, hope you enjoy these.
Join us, brothers and sisters. Join us in the shadows where we stand, vigilant. Join us as we carry the duty that cannot be forsworn. And should you perish, know that your sacrifice will not be forgotten, and that one day we shall join you.
So in keeping with the Awakening, in Awakening, one of the new characters is Anders. So here his trailer for that expansion.
I didn't do it.
Your Majesty, beware, this man is a dangerous criminal.
I am Anders, at your service, mage and wanted apostate. After my 7th escape attempt, you'd think they'd have given me credit for trying.
I will see you hanged for what you've done here, murderer.
Well, good luck with that.
And for this final trailer, this is The Children. I'll let it speak for itself.
I will be leaving you to the children.
So as final, we are going to see the Sacred Ashes cinematic trailer for Dragon Age Origins. This was one of the main trailers that brought the game out.
Keep moving. The legend says the tomb sits atop this peak.
Lovely. We can freeze to death while digging for the bones of a madwoman.
Righteous stand before the darkness, and the Maker shall guide their hand.
Steady. Strike when she comes for me!
Face me, creature!
Let us end this.
And that is Dragon Age Origins. My number 3 game, an absolute masterpiece, bar none. If you've never played this game, go spend the $2-3 it costs and play it. You will not be disappointed. I give you a guarantee on that. It's got everything: action, compelling characters, excellent storylines, excellent writing, political intrigue, moral, ethical choices, where choices actually matter to the story. This game almost has it all. It's a shame what EA did to this franchise, but that does not take away what this game managed to bring out. So anyway, that's my video for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like, a subscribe, and a share. I'm trying to grow my channel, and a like, a subscribe, and a share does me wonders, and I do appreciate it. Always feel free to leave a comment. I encourage everybody to leave comments. Let's have a discussion about this. What do you like? What do you dislike? What do you agree with? What don't you agree with? Leave a comment. Let me know. And as always, pew, 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 and shit. Thanks for watching. Bye.